What's going on, guys, and good evening, and welcome to the Leagues Cup live stream here on Stateside Footy. God damn it, it is a final of the Leagues Cup, the international tournament between Major League Soccer and League MX. And of course, today, for the third straight year, it's going to be an all MLS final as my beloved Seattle Sounders take on Inter Miami at a sold-out Lumen Field in downtown Seattle. God damn it, I am fired up for this goddamn matchup because you know what? This is the first step for Seattle to potentially work their way into a double. That being said, this also could say you could also say the same thing with Inter Miami and the firepower that they potentially have to get themselves over tonight and potentially work their way into a double a double this season as well too. And it's going to be an interesting matchup, and we're about to get into it as well too. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons because man, we are on a race to 1,000 subs, and this channel is moving quite quickly. I got to be honest with you. So make sure you go and do that. All right, let's get into it because we are about 10 minutes away from kickoff, and there's a lot to cover. And the interesting thing about this matchup is Seattle is coming in kind of screwed. Let's be perfectly honest. In the quarterfinal round, Danny Muszowski put himself in a position where he takes a red and he misses the semifinal against the LA Galaxy. And of course, he's going to miss the final tonight. That means Ozazi de Rosario is going to be up top for the Sounders. Good news is that Albert Rusnik is actually on the bench for this one. And so who knows exactly what kind of role Albert's going to be playing in tonight. But the reality is this is all about the Seattle back line and also the double pivot as well, too, because you can understand kind of the movement of how Miami is going to be able to attack in this one. The last thing they want is, Leo Messi operating those zones right in front of the 18-yard box, poaching, picking, putting weighted passes in. The last thing you want to do is allow Messi to get onto a roll and be putting in a situation where all of a sudden you're going to be peppering the box. So we're going to get into the lineup construction for Seattle as well, too. Same thing with Inter Miami, and of course they're going to be loaded for this one. God damn it, man. I'm nervous. But I'm also excited as well, too. So let's go ahead and get into it. I want to welcome, look at that, Adrian's in the chat tonight. What's going on from Spurs Diehards TTID? What's going on, Adrian? It's good to see you tonight. All right, let's get into it because, as I've said, the lineups are out. And tonight, in goal for Seattle will be Andrew Thomas, and he has been absolutely brilliant throughout the Leagues Cup. Essentially getting that playing time for Stefan Frei, who is, bar and large, Seattle's number one, but for the Leagues Cup, he has been absolutely brilliant. The back line is going to be Alex Roldan on the right side, one of the best center back pairings in Major League Soccer. Jackson Reagan and Yaimar are going to be manning those two positions with Reed Baker Whiting on the left-hand side. Not exactly a big fan of Reed. I kind of wanted Nuhu out there tonight, but it is what it is. And the double pivot of Obed Vargas and Christian Roldan. Make no mistake, this is Christian Roldan, who's going to be wearing the captain's band tonight, is probably playing as the best center mid in Major League Soccer this season. Listen, words can't describe how good Christian Roldan has been today, but it's not necessarily about his movement going forward. It's also about coming backward as well, too, and filling that space in front of the 18-yard box along with Obed Vargas, making sure that at the very least you're going to push Miami to the wings where you have at least a better shot of stopping that machine. But I digress. The midfield three, Paul Rothrock is going to be on the right-hand side. Pedro de la Vega is going to be on the left, and Jesus Ferrer is going to be manning the 10 tonight for Seattle. Jesus Ferrer, now, I have actually been one of his biggest critics, but lately over the course of the last month and a half, he's actually played incredibly well. Of course, Pedro de la Vega, the DP10 for Seattle, has actually been pretty goddamn good as well, too. And, of course, I mentioned Ozazi de Rosario is going to be up top. Did score a goal in the semifinal versus the LA Galaxy. And, again, I've been a big critic of de Rosario as well, too. Not exactly the biggest fan, but that being said, Danny Muszowski is out tonight. And so he's going to have to fill some mighty big shoes. And, of course, Jordan Morris is out. As well, too. And so not only has this team been hampered by injury, but also suspension. And through it all, Brian Schmetzer has been that calming force when it comes to this Seattle Sounders team. Man, I really can't stress that enough. Just exactly how calming that man has been through it all. On the bench tonight is going to be Stephon Fry. It looks like it's going to be Castro, Kim. Looks like it's going to be Bell, Baker, Souza, Koza Riense. Looks like it's going to be Shelton Brunel, Danny Leva, Georgie Monongo, and Albert Rusnik on the bench for Seattle as well too. So a very good bench for Seattle. Where they're going to have to plug in the gaps. And I actually like Shelton Brunel as well, too. He's actually really good. And, of course, they got that speed demon, Georgie Monongo. But really, it's Albert Rusnik. The question is how many minutes is he going to get tonight? And especially if this thing is going to be late, as this thing gets on into the 70th, 75th minute and it's 1-1, 0-0, and Seattle's either searching for that go-ahead, Albert Rusnik will get on the pitch tonight as well, too. For Inter Miami, they're coming out in a 4-4-2 with Ustari and net. And the back line of Frey, Falcon, Lujan, and Alba. A midfield four of DePaul, Bright, Busquets, and Hollande. And the two up top will be Messi and Suarez, except when they attack, it's it's going to be, it almost feels like it's going to be like a 3-3-4. They attack in numbers. They do it absolutely well. And to me, this is they're at full strength, man, and Miami at full strength. Now, one of the things that I actually favor Seattle in this one, on top of me being biased, of course, I kind of have to put, for Christ's sake, I'm wearing a kit, right? The reality is they don't match Seattle's speed, not on the wings, not in the mid. So from that standpoint, Seattle's got the speed advantage, but where Miami actually does have where Miami becomes dangerous is the fact that it's kind of impossible to man mark DePaul, Messi, and Suarez. And of course, if you try to, that's where they kind of come out and kind of jack you up a little bit with DePaul and Hollande on the outside as well too. This team, unbelievable. It's like it's the experience that Miami kind of brings, the fact that they've been in these matches so many goddamn times, not just in Major League Soccer, but when you look at some of the Champions League finals some of these guys have been a part of, and just the incredible big games that they played in their career on the international stage, and of course in the EPL, La Liga. These guys have seen it all, right? So, it's the experience factor of playing in these kind of big games, okay? But the reality is, when it comes to Major League Soccer, and when it comes to playing in these big finals, Brian Schmetzer has won everything that you can possibly have won in the American game. And of course, tonight, Leagues Cup, this is the first final that Seattle's been in with the Leagues Cup. And for me, who actually has the experience here? Is it Inter Miami? Yes. Yes, you can probably say that, but you can also say the same thing with Seattle as well, too. Christian Roldan has played in big finals. Again, Brian Schmetzer has won everything that you can possibly win at the American game within American football, right? So both of these teams come in with a lot of finals experience. The question really is Seattle ready to be in this final tonight, right? That's actually a very good question. And one that I keep asking myself is, like, if you remember back in 2022, that team that won the CONCACAF Champions League, a lot of those guys are no longer around. I guess the only players that you can possibly put around are Nuhu, Christian Roldan, and of course Nuhu is not even going to be a part of this match tonight. So really, it's the only players that are on the pitch that were there that have ties to the late 2010s with the Sounders winning MLS Cups and U.S. Open Cups and all that. Really, it's Christian Roldan. But then on the flip side, when you look at Inter Miami and you see all of the players that have been a part of massive, massive finals in their careers, one would probably just assume that Miami might have the edge. But that being said, tactically, it's all going to be about Seattle's back four. And of course, the double pivot, being able to occupy space to stop Miami, from doing what they do best, which is attacking vertically, attacking the channels. It's going to be like, listen, Jackson Reagan, who I think is probably one of the best, 1v1 defenders in Major League Soccer, he's going to have to be up for it tonight. Same thing with Yanmar. And let's not kid ourselves, right? I'm not a big Reed Baker Whiting fan at all. Same thing with Alex Roldan. I'm just not a big fan of Seattle's fullbacks. But that being said, if they're going to be in a situation where, Seattle, if Seattle does themselves a solid and pushes this match to the wings, those two are going to have to be up for it. And that's the question, right? Are they going to be up for it? Well, we're about to find out on this one. So I'm a little nervous. But that being said, it is doable. And of course, we're about 3 minutes away from kickoff tonight. Let's do ourselves a quick final while we're waiting for this one, and let's go over the MLS schedule, because I do believe there are some matches tonight. Let's see, and it is later tonight at 10:45. San Diego will be traveling to LA to take on LAFC. Yesterday in Major League Soccer, Charlotte beat New England 2-1. Montreal and Toronto played to a 1-1 draw. DC United beat NYCFC 2-1. That's actually kind of crazy. Philadelphia down to 10 men beat Cincinnati 1-0. Columbus and the New York Red Bulls played to a 0-0 draw. Sporting KC beat Colorado 4-2. That's actually a surprise. The Houston Dynamo beat St. Louis 3-2. Austin beat San Jose 3-1. Atlanta United beat Nashville. That's actually kind of a shocker as well, too. They did that 1-0. And Portland and Minnesota played to a 1-1 draw. As we look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, as of right now, Philadelphia holds first place in the East by 5 points over Cincinnati on 57 points. Charlotte's in third place, tied with Nashville at 50 points. Orlando City sits in fifth on 47 points, and Inter Miami tied for sixth place on 46 points with Columbus. So that's the Eastern Conference. And the Western Conference, San Diego FC holds a 2-point advantage over Minnesota with 53 points. Vancouver's in third, 49 points, and they're the Seattle Sounders, all alone in fourth place, 44 points. And of course, they still have some work to do in September. Technically, I wouldn't say that they're in the running for a supporter shield. I'm not going to be that crazy to say that is the case. But what I will say is that they are easily capable of going on a run, and I would probably assume at some point Jordan Morris will eventually join this first team. He was out for at least 8 weeks with a shoulder injury, so that's actually going to be some good news because Seattle desperately needs a target 9 down the stretch, and of course Jordan Morris with this team is absolutely pivotal. So that's going to be happening in September, probably toward the latter end of this one. But as we get ready for a massive final in Seattle, it is a sold-out crowd. Over 60,000 are packing this one in downtown Seattle tonight. Quick shout out to my brother Sam, who is a Sounders slappy himself, diehard Sounders supporter. He is there tonight in the house. So big shout out to my brother Sam, and of course our good friend Dan McCooey, who is also there with my brother tonight. Big shout out to you guys. I wish I could have been there. I really wanted to, but unfortunately this weekend just didn't necessarily work out the way that I wanted to. So I will see you in Miami when the Sounders head down to Miami to take on the same team in a couple weeks, which should be fun as well too. So, man, big final. The interesting thing about this is as we are damn near close to kickoff, I will say that there are a lot of American soccer fans that do not like the idea of Leagues Cup. And I was not exactly warm to the idea as well, too. And it has nothing necessarily to do with tradition with the U.S. Open Cup, because I still believe both competitions can hold a very big place in American soccer. It's the fact that this almost seemed like it was just a money grab at first. But as this tournament has kind of progressed a little bit, I've kind of found myself actually quite happy with it, because when you think of the inverse with the CONCACAF Champions League and, of course, with Leagues Cup, the interesting thing about it is with CONCACAF Champions League, MLS teams are in the beginning of their season when that tournament kind of gets underway. And, of course, by that point in time, Liga MX is in midseason form. And so it definitely gives Liga MX sides more of an advantage over Major League Soccer teams. There's a reason why there's only been one team in the history of I guess you could say in the current format of CONCACAF Champions Cup to win it, right? Which was Seattle in 2022. And when you look at the Leagues Cup, And now this is the third straight season where it's been essentially an all MLS final, or let me expand on that a little bit, more like an all MLS semifinal, as Liga MX teams have yet to kind of, it's true, they haven't reached the final yet. But the question of whether or not, Liga MX teams actually take this tournament for real. And of course, there are things that you can point to with the fact that, yes, they have to bring their first teams, but do they necessarily care enough to put themselves in a position to advance, right? Is the juice worth the squeeze for Liga MX teams? And, I've always said that, like, especially for league play, right? And I like the idea of how they did it. Instead of having group stages, they actually went to a league phase for both MLS and Liga MX sides. I would be okay if they played their league phase down in Mexico, and I actually think that would be a nice little wrinkle into this, allowing Liga MX sides to stay in Mexico in front of their fans, give them an actual reason to play instead of having them come to the United States for the league phase. There is a way that this could possibly happen. If you want to keep the knockout rounds in the United States, okay, fair enough. But there is a way where certain teams can for Major League Soccer can go down for the league phase, and if you want to keep it in two specific areas where security is better, Mexico City, Guadalajara, whatever the case may be, you certainly could do that. Where you can actually have camps down there, maybe using the same training grounds and things like that. If you want to keep it security tight, but there's a way that they can easily pull this off where Liga MX sides can be at home for certain matches in the league phase, where it's going to allow them, for one, to make money. I think that's certainly important. And two, it allows their fans to actually see their teams before they come up to the United States for the knockout rounds. And I think it's one thing for American fans to see this, or Mexican American fans that are in the States to see some of these teams, but it's another thing for their season ticket holders that are down in Mexico that are going to be able to see these teams. And I think that would actually bridge the gap between the U.S. and Mexico when it comes to fans and ticket sales and all these other things. And I think it's something that Major League Soccer should probably identify to make this tournament even better. Let's check in real quick as we are almost ready for kickoff, and it looks like there's a nice little a little musical performance going on right now. That's interesting. But all right, so I'm curious to know what you guys think tonight. What is going to be your scoreline? Do you guys have a winner? Is this something where you feel like Inter Miami is going to take this thing easily, or is this something that you think that Seattle is going to be able to take care of? Because again, Seattle, when it comes to finals, are very good. I think they went to 4 MLS Cups in 5 years in the latter half of the 2010s, winning 2. And of course, their only CONCACAF Champions Cup was a victory in 2022. So they're no strangers when it comes to finals. And of course, their history in the U.S. Open Cup as well too is pretty phenomenal. So Seattle knows how to win finals, and especially on home soil. So this should not be something that is foreign to the Seattle Sounders. But that being said, when you think about Inter Miami, you think about the firepower that they bring. I was talking to a couple fans themselves earlier today that just think that, what Miami has is something that Seattle might not be able to stop. And so, of course, all day today, it's been a mixture of, Miami winning 3-1, Seattle potentially winning 3-1. It seems like it's more geared to the Miami side, not to the Seattle side, which kind of goes to show that a lot of U.S. soccer fans really hate the Seattle Sounders. But that being said, you can't hate something that continues to win all the time. So it is what it is. I don't know, man. I think this is going to be interesting. If Seattle can actually play their game plan and can do enough to make sure that, Messi doesn't necessarily occupy that type of space, that type of real estate where he becomes dangerous. Yeah, I think that Seattle actually has a really good chance. That being said, Seattle's going to have to score early. Get that crowd, on that team's shoulders and get them involved early. I think that's definitely going to pay dividends. But that being said, man, if Seattle's defense is what I think that they are, then for sure, I think Seattle wins this match. It all depends, man. As far as I'm concerned, Seattle has the best center back pairing in the league. Ymar and Jackson Reagan. One guy who probably should be involved with the U.S. men's national team, and Jackson Reagan, and another in Ymar, who is absolutely brilliant through the air, very tactically sound when it comes to space. If those two show up, and you get something of a solid performance from Reed Baker Whiting and Alex Roldan, I think Seattle wins this one. I really do. Because I still think Seattle has enough firepower moving forward on the counterattack. I swear, I just think they do. Now, the question is can they pop 3 on Miami? Maybe. But also, Miami can do the exact same thing. Again, Seattle is going to have to put a goal past them quick just to get that crowd on their side. If they can do it, this thing is going to go Seattle's way. But if we start getting into the second half and this thing is still 0-0, and Miami starts kind of flexing their press and starts pushing on them, the question is will Seattle start leaking goals? Because that has been something that has been a bugaboo for Seattle all season. They have leaked goals in inopportune times. But that being said, in front of a sold out crowd in Seattle, they have their home crowd, and of course, we haven't seen a packed house like this in years. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I want to say Seattle just because, of course, that is my hometown team, and of course, I will never root against the Sounders. But I'm also not trying to kid myself to think that this Inter Miami team is equally as capable of putting up a crooked number as well, too. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly the first 15 minutes and how that's going to play out. You would expect it's going to be fast. The question is who has the firepower to withstand, right? Is it Inter Miami's attack or is it Seattle's defense? It's a very good question. It's a very good question that I can't wait to find out. Before we again, make sure you do hit that like and subscribe buttons because we are on a march to 1,000K, and of course this channel has actually grown within the last 2 months. And I do appreciate those that have subbed already, and to those that are going to sub, man, you're going to enjoy yourself on this channel as well too. So, it's going to be a great week, man, because coming off the Leagues Cup final, we come into the international break, and of course tomorrow here on Stateside Footy, we have another episode of Yanks Abroad, where we talk about U.S. men's national team players, their weekend that was, across the Atlantic in Europe. And of course, we have USMNT on Tuesdays, where again, we'll go into depth with these two friendlies that are coming up against South Korea in Japan. And of course, we have the live streams for the U.S. men's national team against South Korea and most likely against Japan as well, too. And so this tomorrow and Tuesday, we will be breaking down not only the weekend that was, but also what we can look forward to in this international window. And of course, there's a lot of outrage just considering the players that are not going to be a part of this one, and instead of focusing on the players that actually are in camp. So we will be talking about that on Tuesday, which should be fun. And of course, generally speaking, when it comes to the Premier League portion of the season, we do a lot of coverage about on the Tottenham Hotspur as well too. So a lot of good stuff on this channel. But of course, tonight it's all about the Leagues Cup final. And man, I got to be honest with you guys. I think Seattle's going to win it. I know that seems kind of shocking considering the guy that's talking to you tonight is wearing a Seattle kit. So head-to-head record between these two teams, Seattle is 4-0-1. The 2025 Leagues Cup, Seattle scored 13 goals, Miami 12. Miami's allowed 6 in this tournament. Seattle's only allowed 2. XG, Seattle's 14.23 to Miami's 12.67. So both teams have been equally as good in this Leagues Cup. And of course, Seattle, over the last 15, I think they've only lost once to Minnesota. And of course, that was a very hard-fought win for Minnesota. But that being said, Seattle has been on fire, literally on fire for the last 15 to 20 matches. And of course, Inter Miami has been equally decent. But that being said, we are almost underway here, as it looks like they're clearing the field. By the way, in finals, Messi, 33 finals, 33 goals, 13 assists, and of course, 46 career trophies for all combined, 46 career trophies for club and country. This dude knows finals, and I guess that's the X factor, right? That is the X factor for Miami, is the fact that they probably have the greatest player on the planet still. And when you look at what he did against Orlando in the semifinals, that's something that Seattle has to pay attention to. And again, it's something that Inter Miami is able to exploit, because they just know how to attack channels moving forward. But it all starts at the top of the 18-yard box and not allowing a guy like Leo Messi to sit and start making those type of passes, where then he can start making runs off of them. Because that's when Inter Miami becomes so incredibly dangerous, right? It all starts actually kind of in the middle of the park, right there, employing a hard mid press, making sure that they don't go vertical, that they're pushing them out to the wings. Seattle's going to have a lot better opportunity to defend that way. But that being said, man, it's going to be interesting to see, as we are dangerously close to kickoff here, as it looks like we are so very close. So let's go ahead and head out to Seattle, as of course Seattle plays on their synthetic turf, which means the ball moves a little quicker. But it's nice to see a packed house in Seattle. It is I'll tell you what, when Seattle gets to a finals, the entire city of Seattle turns out for these Sounders, and it's good to see the ECS. I absolutely love the ECS, the Emerald City supporters. They know how to turn it on as well too, and of course the entire stadium right now is waving their scarves. Man, that's actually quite impressive. I haven't seen this in a long time. But we are underway, man. As there's Obed Vargas. And it looks like Miami will hold possession first, as they're moving from left to right. And we are off in Seattle, as that goes all the way back. And it'll be Falcon. As it looks like that one will get out. It'll be a Seattle throw-in, as Reed Baker Whiting will try to play this quickly up, and it's De La Vega, as that one is going to be put all the way through, as Jesus Ferreira tries to give chase, but it's Lujan that will see that one go out, as Inter Miami is wearing their pink on pink kits. I don't know, man. Something's not right with those pink kits. As that one's going to be played in, it looks like it's going to be Frey, as that one will go out off of De La Vega, off the right-hand touch line. As Frey will throw this one in. As that one will go all the way up. That's going to be headed up by Jackson Reagan. And it comes down to Ozazi, played forward. Oh, yeah, there's a whistle right there. Now it looks like it's against DePaul right there, as Paul Rothrock tried to corral that one in. So this will be a Seattle free kick. So it's interesting, huh? Seattle faced DePaul in the Club World Cup when he was with Atletico Madrid. And then, of course, he made the summer move to Inter Miami. Interesting. as it looks like it's going to be Jesus Ferreira standing over this one with Christian Roldan. As Ustari gives his instructions. As the ref gives his final instruction, there's the whistle. Here's the oh, now he plays it off. It's Roldan. Roldan to Reed Baker Whiting. Down the left-hand side, that thing's going to get blocked. But kept in by Ymar, who plays it over to Jackson Reagan. In the box, Uzazi. Ooh, he almost got on that one as Ustari's going to play this one quick. And here's Messi, who's going to play it centrally. Now down the right-hand side. And Christian Roldan will beat him to the ball. Here comes Seattle now. It's Reed Baker Whiting, tries to go centrally. That gets tipped, and now Ymar will play it forward. As Falcone will play it to himself over Uzazi. And that goes down to Jordi Alba. And Miami will reset here. And it's Lojan. Nice hustle right there by Christian Roldan to take away that right-hand corner. Seattle's doing a good job within the first 3.5 minutes right here, pressing high, which is exactly what they absolutely need. This has to be – Seattle's going to have to match the intensity. That was a nice little ball in right there from Jackson Reagan. As that ball will go back and it'll be Falcone. As that gets played over to Lujan. And that ball's now taken away. It's Jesus Ferreira, 1v2. And he stops, plays it off to the right-hand side. There's a shot, and that goes wide. And it looked like it was Uzazi under pressure. And that's the inexperience right there. As Seattle could have broken, as they, Ferreira could have played it easily to De La Vega, but he pulled in, trying to find Uzazi on the right. And Uzazi actually had Paul Rothrock on the overlap, but instead plays a pretty ugly ball right there. Now here comes Miami now, and it'll be Messi centrally. And that ball's going to get played down the right. There's Reed Baker Whiting, and he plays it out. Seattle's doing a pretty good job there. And that was a great tackle by Obed Vargas on Sergio Busquets right there. And that ball's now going to be switched to the left-hand side. It looks like Alba played one in. That's going to be headed out. Nice play right there by Sergio. And now Miami's going to have to cycle this one back. On the right-hand side, it's going to be Frey. Plays it forward. Good space right here. Oh, now look at that play by Rothrock coming in. And Jackson Reagan will move it forward. It's Rothrock. Tries to play it forward. There's nobody there. Play continues. I don't understand why play is continuing, but it does. As this ball's now going to go off to the left-hand side. Ball in. Nice play by Jackson. As that ball will get out off the left-hand touchline. And it'll be a quick throw in here. And I think it was Alande that played it in. As that will get cycled to the back to the right-hand side. Here's Frey. Seattle's doing a good job of making sure that that ball does not get up the pitch easy. Good pressing, because that ball is now going to get played all the way out. It'll be a Seattle throw-in. That's what Seattle's going to have to continue to do. Press high. Make it a little uncomfortable for the ball carriers with Miami. And Seattle now will try to build up now. And it's Jackson Reagan. And now it's Christian Roldan who's going to sky one. Trying to get on Pedro de la Vega, who beats his man. It's de la Vega now in the box. Ooh! Good cross right there, and it was Falcone to clear it. And it looked like Ozazi was there. So this will be a corner for Seattle now. Good hustle by De La Vega on Frey. As he tried to cross one to a surging Ozazi. Good defense right there by Falcone. And it's De La Vega to put one in. As that one goes way out, that's headed back in. And now Miami will try to clear. As there's a whistle, and it'll be on Obed Vargas. And it looks like that was Rodrigo DePaul that hit the turf. Yeah, that actually wasn't a foul at all. As Obed actually got his shoulder, and DePaul hits the turf like he got clubbed over the back of his head. You're fine, bud. You're fine. As this will be a free kick for Miami, and that ball is going to get played to Falcone up the left-hand side. It's Jordi Alba. As Miami looks to reset here. As Jesus Ferreira tried to chase down Lujan. And now Ustari. We'll go to Frey, but that was Pedro de la Vega right there to tap it out. As we are almost 10 minutes in, that's both Seattle and Miami are trying to feel out each other's defenses here. And it's DePaul. Plays it back to Alba. There's Ozazi. That's going to get out. That's going to be a corner. That's a bad play right there by Ostari. As Ozazi was chasing him down, and he played it back to Falcone, but it gets out past the end line. And so Seattle will have their second corner. There's Brian Schmetzer, yet another final in his illustrious career in Seattle. As Jesus Ferreira will take this corner. As Ozazi is matched up against Sergio Busquets. That ball's whipped in. That'll be headed out. And now it's going to be cleared. But Reed Baker-Whiting now will handle it. And that's going to get played all the way back to Andrew Thomas, who immediately skies it forward. There's just nothing there. Ustari was easily to handle that one. So here comes Miami. And it looks like it'll be Sergio. And that gets played all the way to the right. There's Frey. 1v1 against Reed Baker-Whiting. And that'll get out. It'll look like it was Alande right there on the right-hand side. Couldn't corral it. Nice little, Christian was hounded right there. But here we go. That ball's played forward. Here's Messi. Oh, that gets cleared away. That'll be a corner as Obed Vargas 1v1 with Messi as that ball gets inadvertently played forward as Obed Vargas will get to the ball first before Messi. And it'll go out for a corner, so it'll be Messi taking this corner in front of the ECSN as we're pushing the 12th minute now. Miami's first opportunity at a corner, and they're going to try to play this one short. Here's Messi, 1v2. He's going to play it up. That's going to get chipped in, trying to find Messi again. That'll get out for a goal kick. There's Javier Mascherano, the head coach of Inter Miami. Looks to be his first final in charge. As Ymar will try to play this forward. And that will get over Falcone. As it's going to be played back, it looks like it's going to be to Lujan. As that'll get played back. Yeah, Sergio was hassled. Good passing for Miami. That was chipped forward, but there's Ozazi. Here's Obed Vargas. It'll be up to Paul Rothrock now on the right-hand side. He's got the overlap, and he hits it. It's Alex Roldan who plays one in, but that's quickly going to be cleared out. And that'll be a Seattle throw-in. Up on the upper right-hand touch line. There's Adrian Hanauer. Seattle majority owner. And here's Christian Roldan. Christian plays it off. It's De La Vega. De La Vega in the box. Ooh. That was tipped down, but look at this. It's Christian Roldan. He's everywhere. Now that gets played back to Andrew Thomas. And it's Obed Vargas. And now it's Alex Roldan. That ball's going to try to get played forward. It's going to be for Rothrock. It looks like Jordi Alba was there. And now that's going to be switched. And it was intended for Frey. And Frey catches up to it. Tries to play it forward, but that was Jackson Reagan. And now it's De La Vega. Seattle will play this one back. Nice pass by Jackson, who leaves it. Oh, and Jesus was looking for Ozazi, but played him behind it. And here comes Miami now. And it's DePaul. Here's Messi now. Plays it forward. That's taken away right there. That's Messi. He will hit the deck. No call. Here's Paul Rothrock now. Up the right-hand side. He's going to lay it off. And here's Christian Roldan now. And now Roldan will go with the switch all the way down the left-hand side. It's De La Vega. De La Vega is going to play one in. Oh, he tried to find Ozazi. That's Falcone. We'll lay on the turf here. As Falcone looks like somebody shot him. Good ball in right there by De La Vega, but it looks like maybe Ozazi caught Falcone in the ass right there. As play will reset here. And it'll go down to Lujan, who quickly finds Frey. Coming down the right-hand side. And it's Obed Vargas to play this one out. And they'll try to play this one up to Alande. And there's a quick throw-in. That'll get out again. So Miami's trying to move quickly. Down the right-hand side, they're going to play this one back. As Lujan will find Falcone, and Miami will try to reset. Here's Busquets. as DePaul will play it to Falcone. This is Miami's second League Cup appearance in 3 seasons. And of course, I believe Miami won it the first time around with Messi when he first came to Major League Soccer. This is Seattle's first League Cup final, as Jesus Ferreira is really kind of giving it to Sergio Busquets. As now they're going to try to play this forward. And here's Hollande. He's going to find DePaul. Looking for Messi centrally. Couldn't find him. There's Yaimar trying to clear it. And he does. It's Rothrock now. As Rothrock will play it centrally, trying to find Jesus Ferreira. Here comes Messi. Messi's going to shoot. That one's going to get deflected. And it's Sergio Busquets. As Seattle was trying to find an outlet to Obed Vargas. But Miami holds this thing in now. Credit to Seattle. In those central areas where Messi likes to roam, man. They had 2 bodies on him. As Busquets looks like they're trying to find Jordi Alba there. As that one will go off the hand of Rothrock, and he's holding it. Yep. So Miami will restart here. As that one's going to go centrally right there. Looks like it was Suarez. Here's Messi now. That's a good ball in right there. Oh, Jackson Reagan gets in front of it as DePaul was right there in the box. That was a good ball forward. And it was Messi who found Rodrigo DePaul. But Jackson Reagan was able to make that slide tackle. As that ball goes out for a corner. Great defense right there by Jackson Reagan. And Messi will take this corner here. Good defender, Jackson Reagan, out of the University of Michigan. And that corner goes straight into the hands of Andrew Thomas. And now Thomas will play this long. He has De La Vega. And that will go out. As Frey tried to make a try for it, but he missed it. As that ball still goes out though, and it'll be a Miami throw-in. Seattle is 4-0 all-time in Cup finals at Lumen Field. 2 of them were U.S. Open. Well, one of them was a U.S. Open Cup. One of them was an MLS Cup. A CONCACAF Champions League final was here. And now a Leagues Cup final. Seattle's very good at finals at home. As that ball got out. Of course, Brian Schmetzer was the longtime assistant to one's Siggy Schmid. And of course, Brian took over in 2016 when they made the decision to let go of Schmid. As that ball gets played in and immediately will get held in. Here's Jackson, who's got to play it all the way back to Thomas. And Thomas will play this long. Left-hand side, it's Rothrock. And that he's not able to keep that in. Seattle is 9-1-4 in their last 14 matches since the Club World Cup. The one loss coming against Minnesota. As there is the whistle. They have been red hot Miami themselves are 9-2-3 in their last 14 matches since the Club World Cup, so they equally have been equally as hot. There's David Beckham as the Miami contingent is in the house. As there's Jackson Reagan now trying to play it down the left. And it'll be Lujan who's going to try to play this forward. That's going to get out for Seattle throwing. And it's Reed Baker Whiting quickly to play it into Jackson Reagan. And here's Christian. It's Rothrock now. Yep. And that'll be a foul right there. So Seattle will have a free kick in the middle of the park. As that looks like it was against Jordi Alba. As Jackson will be playing over this free kick here. Miami's completed 139 passes so far to Seattle's 49. That's a good ball. Here's Ferreira. Miami has actually done a really good job with their press. But here's De La Vega now on the left-hand side. Here's DLV trying to cut in. De La Vega tries to put one on, and that gets blocked. As DePaul will play one forward to Jordi Alba. Here's Messi being hounded by Jesus Ferreira. Here's Ozazi now. He gets possession back. It's Obed Vargas. And there's a whistle right there. As Obed hits the turf. Later tonight in Major League Soccer, San Diego travels to LA to take on LAFC. That will be on at 10:45 Eastern on Apple TV. So far, I mean, we're 25 minutes into this thing. And Seattle has been rock solid defensively. Miami's held a little bit more of the possession. But Seattle's done a very good job of moving into space. And this one's going to go to the right-hand side. Here's Alex Roldan's going to play this one. Score! Osathi De Rosario flies through the channel to get on the end of a cross from Alex Roldan. And Seattle grabs a 1-0 lead in the 25th minute. Osaze De Rosario puts one in for Seattle. And Seattle grabs their early 1-0 lead. And it starts with Jesus Ferreira in that central area marking off Alex Roldan, who puts one in, and it was Ozazi who flies through the channel between Lujan and Frey, all alone there in Seattle. What a unbelievable goal right there for the Sounders. Hoo-wee. Hoo-hoo-hoo. And Seattle grabs a 1-0 lead in the 25th minute. That's a huge goal for De Rosario right there. Unbelievable. The young striker taking over for Danny Muszowski and has scored in his last 2 matches here in the League's Cup. As that one gets played back, looks like to Sergio. Here's Falcon. It'll be Jordi Alba. And now it's Rodrigo DePaul. There's Sergio, and he's going to try to ping one forward, trying to pick out Messi, and he does. And there's a whistle as Messi is down on the ground. And you got to protect the king sometimes, right? Yeah, and look at that was such a beautiful goal as they look back on this one, and he flew right between Lujan and Frey right there centrally. As Messi gets up here, and he's shouting out the ref, "You know who I am? You know who my father is?" Oh, I love it. So far, the officiating has actually been even. As play will start, as Messi's going to try to play one in and out. Oh, it looks like it's Suarez. As Christian Roldan blocked it. As that gets played all the way out to Lujan. Actually, it's Frey. Frey will try to play one to the left. That gets popped straight up. And Roldan will try to play it forward. As it makes its way back to Lujan. He almost got his kick right there. As Jordi Alba will play it back to Sergio. Sergio. All the way down to the right-hand side, it's Frey. He's got to lay this one back. And that'll go all the way to the left. It's Falcone. Jordi Alba on to DePaul. Sergio Busquets is now going to go to the right-hand side. And nice defense right there by Reed Baker Whiting on Frey. That gets out. It'll be another Miami corner. Good defense. Everyone's accounted for. As they tried to switch the right-hand side, it was an open man on the right. It was Frey, but Reed Baker Whiting came in and closed that space down. And so this will be out now for a corner. And it'll be Messi standing over this corner. Seattle scored on a headed goal by Osazi de Rosario 2 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden Falcone is now down grabbing his foot. As de Rosario is saying, no, he's the one that elbowed me. As Falcone trying to sell a limp. That ball is going to get whipped in. Headed up. Headed down. And cleared out finally. But it's Rodrigo de Paul, and there's a whistle. As Obed Vargas now. Looks like he's down on the turf with a stab wound. Maybe a shot to the calf. As play will resume with a goal kick here from Thomas. As he plays this one forward. As that will fall to Messi. And it's Jordi Alba now. As Messi now will try to play this forward, but there's Obed Vargas. And now will be Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. Actually, it was Sergio. As Falcone will now go to the right-hand side. And it'll be down to Frey, 1v1 against Baker Whiting. Played it in. It's Alande. Ooh, as DePaul played one forward. Looking for a cutting Luis Suarez, but Andrew Thomas was there. as we replay Seattle's goal. God damn, that was beautiful. Here comes De La Vega now. Oh, yeah. There's a whistle. Down the left-hand side, it was Frey who tied up De La Vega. As we watch this one again, De La Vega tried to put one in. And he... Ooh, wow. As Frey will get one back on De La Vega in the box, but there's no whistle. As Ustari will try to play this forward. Reed Baker Whiting steps in front of it. Now Jackson will again try to play it forward, but that's going to get out. It'll be a Miami throw. That was a quick start right there. Trying to find a streaking De La Vega there into the box, but did get off a shot, but not much to it as Miami tried to play it quickly forward. But it's taken away, and now here's Christian Roldan will find his brother Alex. As Seattle played to Jackson Reagan. Now we'll find De La Vega on the left. And that's Reed Baker Whiting. Trying to find space. And there's going to be a whistle as Baker Whiting hits the turf, and it looks like that was against Alande. As it'll be a free kick here for Seattle in a dangerous area. It'll be Jesus Ferreira. As Ferreira will play this one in. Back post, headed forward. Yaimar will hold it in. He lays it off to Obed Vargas against Jordi Alba. As the flag says, it's still within Seattle's possession here. Good crowd tonight. Biggest crowd of the year. Leagues Cup final. Looks like Seattle's about an hour away from hoisting their first of what could be 2 trophies this season. Their first Leagues Cup title. As Jesus Ferreira will take this corner. As the corner battle is even at 3. As Ferreira will play this one in. As Messi will try to clear it. Oh, look at Paul Rothrock taking that ball away. Back pocket picked. Ferreira will lay it back to Rothrock on the right-hand side. As that'll get out, and it'll be a Seattle throw in here. Miami did a good job of shutting down the space, but it gets on out. It's Rothrock who's going to try to play one to De La Vega. As that one is skied straight up. As De La Vega and Frey. Look at that. As Reed Baker Whiting picks the pocket, Seattle will retain possession here. As look at Obed Vargas. And there, that ball's going to go out, and it's going to say Miami throwing here. Yeah. As it looks like Frey will be responsible. As that ball gets played in, and there will be a whistle quickly on De La Vega against Rodrigo De Paul. And DePaul doesn't like the cut of De La Vega's jib. That's funny. He was right in his face. So the play will resume. Seattle have done a very good job against Messi tonight, not allowing to occupy the space deep. As it'll be Jordi Alba. As that's going to be popped straight up, trying to find Alande there. That's taken away by Obed Vargas now. It's Vargas. Taken away by Falcone. As Alande trying to find Messi. Oh, nice right there by Ymar as that goes out. As that ball gets played in, it looks like it's going to be Bright. And here's Rodrigo De Paul against De La Vega. Here's Sergio. As Bright will play it all the way to Alba. Ball in. Headed away by Christian Roldan. As Jesus Ferreira will give chase. And now Ferreira will play it all the way forward. It's Ozazi. And that ball's taken away. It'll be Bright looking for Messi. Passed a little too forward. Obed Vargas plays it centrally. And it looks like Ozazi's got to play it all the way back. So Seattle will hold possession as we're approaching the 40th minute here. Seattle leads 1-0. As that ball is going to try to play forward. It's Paul Rothrock. It's Rothrock against Falcone. Tipped. Rothrock will retain possession. Here's Ferreira. Ferreira shoots. Oh, off the post. Oh, Ferreira missed it. Off the post. Off the far post. Oh. Jesus nearly put Seattle up 2-0. And Messi will play it all the way down to Frey on the right-hand side. Tipped away by Reed Baker Whiting. And now Ymar is going to try to play one forward to Azazi. Nobody was there except for Falcone. And here's Rodrigo De Paul. Oh, look at that play by De La Vega, who takes it away. And now here's Bright, who picked his pocket. It is a back and forth affair here. And it looks like it's Alande. 1v1 against Alex Roldan. That's going to be blocked. Kept in by Alande. Here's Messi taken away right there by by Christian Roldan. Miami will hold it in, though. Oh, that's a nice little play right there by Alex Roldan. Sliding challenge right there. As we take a look again, that shot by Jesus Ferreira, and he nearly missed it as it hit the post. So it'll be a Miami throw in here. And here's DePaul now. Trying to find Messi centrally. He does. But that's going to be taken away and then cleared. No whistle here. As Messi was expecting one. Nope. Welcome to Major League Soccer, Holmes. You ain't getting whistles for anything. Here's Bright now. And they're going to get a whistle on Christian Roldan as Bright hits the turf. So this will be a free kick. As we see, so Jackson Reagan didn't get whistled. And he was a little late to Messi. But Messi didn't get the call, but at least there was a Maybelline right there. On Christian Roldan with Bright. So this will be a free kick. A dangerous area for Miami. Central about 35, 45 yards out. And now it'll be Messi. He's going to try to sky one. It gets over the crossbar into ECS territory. As play will resume, it's Christian Roldan. And it's Yaimar. On the right-hand side. As Alex Roldan will play it back to Yaimar. Yaimar will pick out De Rosario. And now Roldan will switch to the left-hand side. It's De La Vega. De La Vega. Finding Alex Roldan. And that's punched out by Ustari, but kept in. Oh, no, it wasn't. It'll be Messi playing it forward. Here's Rodrigo de Paul. That's tipped up by Christian Roldan. Into the box, headed away by Yaimar. As it looks like Sergio Busquets actually got his head on that one. It looked like Christian was going to keep this one held in. But he got a funky bounce, and now Miami was able to hit the break. As Reed Baker-Whiting came to close off Messi. And Roldan got that ball tipped. But Miami will take the short corner here. Jordi Alba can't find Messi. And here's Bright. As Sergio Busquets will try to play one in. There was nothing there. And now Rodrigo de Paul will have to give chase. And that ball's tipped away from Messi. And Miami will hold it in. Off the left-hand side now, it looks like it's Jordi Alba. That's going to be tipped. When Rothrock gave chase, but back to Alba. And that ball's going to get played forward. That's a little too far forward for Frey. It'll be a goal kick for Seattle. As we are now in stoppage time, 1 minute of stoppage time at the half. Seattle leads 1-0. As Thomas will have this goal kick here. As Thomas will play this forward. And that's going to get tipped back to Ustari. And Falcone will start it. As we are now past the 1 minute of stoppage time. And that's going to be the whistle. So Seattle leads 1-0 at the half. As we check out the halftime stats. And of course, it's exactly what I expected to be. Miami leads the possession battle 67-33. But again, it's not how much you hold the ball, it's what you do with it. And Seattle currently leads the shot tallies. 6 for Seattle to Miami's 4. Seattle 3 shots on target. Miami have 0, and Seattle has the big chances 2-0. As we get into it a little bit deeper here, as we look at again total shots 6-4. Let's see. Shots inside the box, Seattle has 5, Miami has 2. And of course, shots outside the box, that's where essentially Seattle has kept them outside of their own box 2-1. As we look at the passing now, Inter Miami has 289 to Seattle's 136. Accurate passes 247 to Seattle's 107. Passes in the own half 122 to Seattle's 48. Passes in the opposition half 123 to 59. Accurate long balls Miami 17, Seattle 9. But crosses, accurate crosses, Seattle 5, Inter Miami 3. Touches in the opposite box, and I think this is actually most important. 10 for Seattle to Miami 6, which lets you know exactly, like, even in the 33 possession, Seattle has still been able to work it deeper than Miami has been able to. Defenses, tackles 1, Seattle 7, Miami 3. Interceptions, Seattle 6, Miami 4. And it looks like defense now, duels 1, Miami 21, Seattle 19. Ground duels, 17 for Seattle, 15 for Miami. Aerial duels, 6-2, and successful dribbles, 2-0. So what this says to me is what I expected, right? Miami has the most possession, and it certainly has played out that way in the first half. And it seems like, Seattle has done a good job of what I expected them, which was clearing the top of the 18-yard box and not allowing free runs. You would usually see Luis Suarez or Alande or Messi getting on the end of. Again, they like to attack vertically. And one of the things that Seattle cannot do is allow Miami just to penetrate like that. And they've tried, but Seattle's done a very good job 1v1 defending. And as of right now, Seattle has done a good job of keeping Miami on the wing. And of course, that's not necessarily Miami's game. They like to counter, like to move quick through the middle of the park, and Seattle's done a very good job. Where Seattle's done a really good job really is their pressing as well too. Not allowing Miami just to walk the ball up and establish their attack in their own half. So I think Seattle's done a very good job through this first half. The one thing that I actually was impressed was the fact that Seattle has been very good on the counterattack, and when they do work it deep, they're getting the ball in dangerous areas. And it really just kind of highlights the fact that Miami's back four isn't as rock solid as their attack. You absolutely can, you literally can pick them apart if you really can. And that's why they've really been focusing on De La Vega on the left side, and of course Alex Roldan on the right side. And of course Seattle's goal came essentially from Jesus Ferreira finding Roldan on the right-hand side. And of course, Roldan's cross, and it was a streaking Ozazi de Rosario that went right through Lujan and Frey for that header right there. So, I will say that while, yes, Miami has, I guess you can say the better possession passing. But that being said, on the back foot, they're just not as strong. And Seattle, even without Albert Rusnik, even without Jordan Morris, even without Danny Wazowski, they've been able to take their chances. And so far it's held up quite well. So in the second half, it's going to be interesting. I don't think Seattle's going to make any changes. I don't expect them to with a 1-0 lead. They've been holding their own, especially defensively. They played a great game so far. But for Miami, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what's going to happen with Miami. I would expect them to keep the same 11 on the pitch. But that being said, it's like, one of the things that we haven't seen is a lot of Alande. Usually Alande plays a large part in their attack, along with those, one-touch passes with Messi on that right-hand side. I would probably assume they're going to try to get Alande involved a little bit more. And again, trying to work a little bit more centrally in space with Messi. But that being said, they're going to have to try something because Seattle has actually been up to the task so far. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this is going to play out in the second half. Before we begin that second half, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons as this channel is growing. And I do want to thank those that have already subscribed and those that will subscribe. And a quick programming note, tomorrow, Yanks Abroad returns as we recap the weekend that was with the U.S. men's national team player pool over in Europe. And, of course, USMNT on Tuesdays. as we look forward to this international window as the U.S. men's national team play host to South Korea and Japan. And we'll get a little deeper into the roster and give you an idea of exactly how this team lines up against South Korea coming up this upcoming Saturday. So definitely stay tuned to that as well, too. So as we take a look around Major League Soccer yesterday, Charlotte beats New England 2-1 as Brent Bronico scored in the 12th minute. For Charlotte, Ignacius Ganago scored in the 24th minute for New England, but then Toklamati scored in the 87th minute for Charlotte, and that ends up being the winner as Charlotte extends over New England 2-1. Montreal and Toronto played to a 1-1 draw as Jonathan Osorio scored in the 88th minute to draw this one even, as Dante Seeley scored in the 83rd minute for Montreal. Pretty solid match between those two teams. As I thought Montreal was going to be a little bit better this year, but hasn't turned out that way. DC United beat NYCFC 2-1 as Pirani scored in the 43rd and 77th minute for DC United. Justin Hawk scored in the 19th minute for NYCFC. So that was actually kind of a big match right there for DC United. They need the points. The big one was Philadelphia. Down 10 men, still getting a 1-0 victory over FC Cincinnati as Bruno Damiani scored in the 49th minute. And then Macania got the red card in the 60th minute. So for 30 minutes, Philadelphia, playing with 10 men, still gets the victory in Cincinnati. Columbus and the New York Red Bulls played to a 0-0 draw. Sporting Kansas City beat Colorado yesterday as Rafael Navarro and Keegan Rosenberry scored for Colorado in the first half. But in the second half, Dejan Jožović scored in the 4th and 80. Gets a brace and scored in the 4th and 81st minute. Solil scored in the 73rd minute, and Mason Toy in the 75th minute. As Sporting Kansas City gets all three against a Colorado team, which is kind of surprising. Sporting Kansas City really just isn't that great, but I thought Colorado was going to take that one, but it is what it is. Houston Dynamo beat St. Louis City AC. Ezekiel Ponce scored in the 20th minute. They get an own goal against Henry Kessler in the 50th minute, and then Dwayne Holmes scored in the 72nd minute. And for St. Louis, it was Lowen in the 86th minute and Joyner in the 89th minute, but it was not enough as the Dynamo get all three. FC Austin beats the San Jose Earthquake as Bukhari scored in the 12th minute, Uzani in the 33rd minute, and Bruno Wilson gets an own goal in the 77th minute, giving Austin their three. Daniel Mooney scored in the 53rd minute as San Jose's lone goal. Atlanta United beats Nashville, which was kind of a surprise as Ronald Hernandez scored in the 24th minute and holds up. And Atlanta takes a 1-0 victory over Nashville. And Minnesota and Portland played to a 1-1 draw as Robin Lod scored in the 85th minute, but Nicholas Romero gets the own goal, and that one ends in a 1-1 draw. So interesting slate around Major League Soccer. There's some pretty big upsets, and tonight San Diego FC travels to LA to take on LAFC. As we look at the standings in Major League Soccer in the Western Conference, San Diego holds a 2-point lead in the table, 53 points over Minnesota. Vancouver sits on third at 49 points, and Seattle's at fourth at 44 points. They got a 3-point lead over LAFC. Portland resides in sixth. Austin will be in seventh. And Colorado and San Jose right now currently hold on to the 2 wildcard spots. San Jose's got a 3-point lead over the Houston Dynamo and a 4-point lead over Real Salt Lake. So we're at that point in the schedule right now where you're going to start seeing some teams pull away. But that being said, take a look at the Houston Dynamo and Real Salt Lake and maybe even FC Dallas trying to grab one of those wildcard spots. In the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia has a 5-point lead at the top of the table, 57 points over Cincinnati, who's in second place. Charlotte and Nashville are even on points at 50 in third and fourth place, respectively. 3 points below them is Orlando City. Inter Miami's in sixth at 46 points. Same with Columbus. Eighth place is NYCFC with 44 points, and the New York Red Bulls have a 1-point lead for that ninth spot over the Chicago Fire. 9 points back will be the New England Revolution. And so something's going to have to definitely change in the Eastern Conference, especially if New England is going to try to chase down that last playoff spot. I don't necessarily see it happening, but stranger things have happened. It is Major League Soccer. So we are getting ready for the second half here in Seattle, and quite an interesting first half. Seattle did what they were supposed to, which was get on the board first, and they certainly did, taking advantage of what I consider not exactly the greatest back four is Ozazi De Rosario. Essentially flashed in the channel between Lujan and Frey to get on the end of a Alex Roldan cross as Seattle takes a 1-0 lead. But as impressive as that goal was, for me, what's been very impressive has been Seattle's essentially back six. They've done a very, very good job of keeping Miami out of the box. As a matter of fact, it's interesting when a team has 67% of the possession, you would think that we would see a lot of balls in, but there has not been a lot of successful crosses into the box. Of Seattle has essentially kept Suarez out. They've kept Alande out. They've kept Messi out. And I would go so far as to say as the double pivot of Obed Vargas and Christian Roldan have been very good, sitting atop of the 18-yard box and not allowing Messi to occupy that space. So much so that when Messi touches the ball, there's two green jerseys right there, essentially denying him of those one-touch passes and the runs that he usually likes to make on the backside of those. They've done a very good job of keeping Miami higher up the pitch in the middle part and down on the wing. So I think I think the game plan for Seattle has been executed to perfection so far through the first 45 minutes. And so I would probably assume we're going to see more of that. I don't see any substitutions for Miami. I'm sure they're going to come out with the same 11. And why would they? Why would they make changes now, right? I probably wouldn't expect it until the 65th minute. But that being said, man, they might have to change something up. That being said, man, if Seattle can play the second 45 just like they did in the first 45, we're going to see a trophy race in Seattle, and it would be well deserved too, because I think they executed the right game plan against Miami. So we'll see. As it looks like we're almost back from break here. As we're looking at a little first half highlights here, and it's and Seattle has done exactly what they're supposed to, closing down space effectively. As we're watching this replay real quick of Jackson Reagan getting away with a little bit of a late tackle on Messi. But when you look at Messi's heat map, 30 touches in the first half and 17 completed passes, and it's exactly where you expect him to be, centrally right in front of the 18-yard box. But that being said, man, that's exactly where you can't have him touch the pitch. You can't have him touch the ball right there, and just allowing him to pick Seattle apart. So. And there's the Miami supporters. And there's Pedro de la Vega coming back on the pitch as Seattle now will be moving from left to right to the ECS stand, the south stand. I guess you can say it's the Brom end, as Miami will be going from right to left to the Hawks Nest. So we're almost ready now for the second half. And it looks like no changes for Seattle. And it doesn't look like there's any changes for Miami either. 45 minutes for Seattle, and they will hoist yet another trophy. It's the only trophy that they don't have in their trophy cabinet. Seattle has essentially won everything there is to win in American soccer except for Leagues Cup. So this would be a nice addition to the trophy case. As Miami would be looking for their second Leagues Cup victory. Now, I wouldn't be crazy to assume that either one of these teams can win a double this season. Both have the firepower, and I guess you could say in the modern history of Major League Soccer, the double usually is the U.S. Open Cup, has been defined as the U.S. Open Cup and the MLS Cup, but now with the U.S. Open Cup, I guess you could say relegated as a secondary trophy. Now it's the Leagues Cup, MLS Cup double. And when I think about Seattle and I think about the fact that they've dealt with so many goddamn injuries this season, to be in this position is actually quite impressive. And same with Miami as well, too. I mean, they're expected with the amount of money that they spend. But we begin the second half here as Jesus Ferreira will play this back. And it looks like Reagan will try to play this forward as Alande will pop it forward. And now Bright will play this off, and it's Sergio Busquets. And it looks like Sergio Busquets is down holding his ankle, as Paul Rothrock was down as well, too. As we check this one again, as Rothrock came in for the challenge. Oh, Sergio, you're fine. Rothrock didn't even get a piece of him. As play resumes, as this ball is going to be played down the left-hand side, trying to find Jordi Alba. It looks like Reagan tried to play that down, but was held in by Bright. And so Miami will hold possession here to start essentially to start the second half. As they're trying to play this a little centrally here. And now they're going to play it off to the left-hand side. As Alba were trying to find the central areas, but there's Baker Whiting. As that falls to Azazi. That was immediately taken away by Falcone. As that goes down the left-hand side, it's Jordi Alba who cuts in. Here's Bright. Back to Alba now. And good job by Jesus Ferreira, forcing the ball all the way back as Falcone will reset. As that ball's taken away from Rodrigo de Paul. And before Seattle can counter, Miami will retain possession here. The win probability is Seattle 71.8%, and Miami's all the way down at 8.5. The draw is almost at 20%, so as Bright's going to have to play this down to Falcone. And there's Messi. As Suarez makes a touch. And that ball's well behind Suarez now. It's Christian Roldan, but that ball gets taken away. Here's Jordi Alba. Here's Messi. Christian Roldan 1v1 against Messi, and Roldan will tap that one out as this will go out for a corner kick. As you can see, this is exactly what Miami wants. High turnover. So they can counter quickly. It'll be a short corner. Here's DePaul trying to play it in. And that ball will get out for a goal kick. As Suarez was kind of leaned back in that shot right there, as that one skied over Alex Roldan and Andrew Thomas and the entire Hawks nest there. But Miami now will have possession again. As that's going to go all the way to the left-hand side. It's Jordi Alba trying to play it in. Shoots Messi. Oh, and Messi missed it. As Messi made a run. And again, Jordi Alba was left all alone. Seattle didn't get back enough time. And it was Suarez that found Messi making a run in against Reed Baker Whiting, and Messi just missed it. Good lead pass right there from Suarez. Seattle's lucky this match isn't 1-1. As that ball gets away, and it's Reed Baker Whiting. Here's Christian Roldan. Obed Vargas will find Alex Roldan. And it's Ymar all the way to Reed Baker Whiting. As that ball gets played up the left-hand side, it's De La Vega. As Christian will try to flip it up to Reed Baker Whiting now. As that ball is going to get played forward. Trying to find Ozazi. As that ball gets headed out, it will be a Miami throw. Oh, and Messi just missed it. As Suarez played a good ball in, and that's exactly how Miami like to play. Very direct. As that ball was tipped up, trying to switch to the left. Here's Christian Roldan, plays it forward. Here's Rothrock now on the half turn. He's going to move in space. Lays it off to De La Vega. 1v1. De La Vega hits the touchline. Plays one in. Headed forward. Oh. And it did find Jesus Ferreira as he was actually pulled down in the box. As this will be a goal kick. As it will start with Ustare. And now Falcone will play it out to Jordi Alba. That's going to try to be tipped towards Suarez. And he immediately plays it forward. And De La Vega was trying to play it in to Ferreira, but the pass was well behind him. And it's Paul Rothrock who's got to play this one back. And now it'll go to Jackson Reagan. As Christian finds his brother. Here's Rothrock now. Down the right-hand side, Rothrock plays one in. Oh, and it scoots past the 6-yard box. Ooh, that was dangerous. That was a good one-touch pass from Ferreira to free up Rothrock, who played one in. Looking for Obed Vargas. Nobody was there. As this will get out. Looks like it'll say Miami. A Miami throw-in. Although that ball last went out by Frey. There's Jordan. Watching on. As you know, Jordan wants to be in this match. As Falcone will try to find Jordi Alba. That one's going to get deflected off Paul Rothrock. And it'll get out. As, of course, Jordan found his way back from the early injury, only to be re-injured within 10 minutes of his return. As Reed Baker Whiting will hold this in. That ball is going to get played. Try to get played for Rothrock, and now Miami will try to counter quickly. As that ball is going to go on the right-hand side. As Jackson Reagan will immediately clear it. As Ozazi actually hit the deck right there, no call. And now they're going to try it up the right-hand side again. As Frey will try to put one in. Oh, Andrew Thomas with a save. That was a good ball in right there. As Alande was there. As Frey was looking for Alande and Suarez. Ooh. Well held up there by Bright. Here comes Miami. It's going to be Messi. Oh, that's taken away from De La Vega. Here's Obed Vargas. De La Vega's had a hell of a match so far. As that ball gets pinged up. Tried to be held in, but it's Ymar now who's got to clear it. Headed forward, but it's a Rothrock. Here comes Seattle. And it's Reed Baker Whiting. Tip forward, but it's Jesus Ferreira who finds De La Vega now. De La Vega on the left-hand side with the overlap. It's Reed Baker Whiting. Here's Reed. Tries to play one in. Saved on the near post by Ustari. And he immediately plays it out. And it's Frey. As Miami's come out guns a-blazing here in the second half. And Bright will play it back to Jordi Alba. And it's Messi. And Messi will play it up the left-hand side to Jordi Alba. And that's a good deflection right there off of Alex Roldan. So that'll get out for a throw-in. And it looks like Segovia is coming in. As Lujan will come off. So Miami will sub a central defender for another attacker. And it's DePaul trying to play it in. Headed away by Alex Roldan. And that'll get out for another throw-in. And it'll go to Segovia, who will play it to Sergio. Here's Bright. All the way down to Jordi Alba. Kept in by Segovia. That's going to get tipped. And it'll get out for a corner here. So through the first 13, 14 minutes, it's been all Miami. Seattle hasn't really been able to mount any type of counterattack here as Rodrigo DePaul will take this corner here. That's going to get whipped in. Popped up, and that'll get out for a goal kick. As Alande tried to get his head on that one. As Seattle will move quick. It's Reed Baker Whiting on the left-hand side. And he's going to move. As it's De La Vega now. Trying to play it forward. But there's Sergio Busquets. And it's Messi. And Messi will shoot this off to the other side. And it's Falcone. As Falcone's got room to run here. As they'll pop this one back off to Segovia. As Messi and DePaul will work together. Segovia. Oh, nice tip in right there, but taken away and now cleared. As again, trying to work a little more centrally here. As Seattle's a little bit more open here in the second half. As Miami has dominated possession here. As they'll try to find Alba. As Bright will play this one forward. As Luis Suarez made a touch. As Messi finds Bright centrally, tried to play it in. Tipped. Here's Alande. And Alande missed it. Oh, he missed it. As they work that again centrally. As they freed Alande on a run. It's a nice little flip. As Alande gets past Yaimar. And he misses the near post by a good 2 feet. Oh. And again, Seattle is fortunate that this match isn't tied. Oh, and it looks like Cosa Rienzi has checked in for the Sounders. As Pedro de la Vega will come off. And Danny Leyva has checked in for Seattle. So Cosa Rienzi will be on the right side, and Rothrock will now switch to the left. And Danny Leyva has checked in for Obed Vargas. As here's Segovia trying to play it a little bit deeper. It's Bright. Goes to the left-hand side against Jordi Alba, who tries to play one in. That's going to get headed out and then cleared. And that's where Seattle has to focus its defensive, its defense a little bit more centrally. You can't allow Miami to play centrally down on their box. That's a nice little tip right there. There's a whistle. So it'll be a Miami free kick. Oh, and Alande just flat out missed it as they were looking at that replay. As that ball goes in, but there's Thomas. And Thomas will play this one out to Rienzi. And it'll be Reed Baker Whiting. Up the left-hand side, it's Paul Rothrock against Frey 1v1. Rothrock cuts in. No whistles. Rothrock hits the deck. Here's Christian Roldan. Plays off his brother Alex. Alex Roldan. Cuts. Plays it over. In the box. Oh, trying to find Jesus Ferreira. And look at Yaimar. That ball's deflected. And that's held in off of Yaimar. It goes out. Good defensive intensity from the Sounders right there. As we're approaching the 63rd minute. As that ball will play it into Segovia. Now they'll switch. And it's Messi. Now it's Frey up the right-hand side. As now they'll switch it to the left-hand side, and it's going to be Falcone. As there'll be a whistle. I guess that's going to be against Obed Vargas on Rodrigo de Paul. And they are saying this should be more than just a foul. As that ball's played in, there's Andrew Thomas right there. As they'll play this out to the right-hand side, it's Alex Roldan. And that ball's taken away. It's Segovia. As Miami will hold in Seattle's territory here. And it feels like we're on the cusp of a Miami goal here. And here's Spray on the right-hand side against Baker Whiting. Trapped 2v1 with Rothrock. It's messy. That ball's going to go all the way to the left-hand side. Trying to find Jordi Alba. But that'll get out for a goal kick. As Miami has essentially been on the attack for 20 minutes now. And they just can't seem to find the equalizer. As Jordi Alba was upset. And here comes Miami again. Alba will move centrally. That ball was deflected as Alande will hold it in. Man. As Miami has ratcheted up the pressure here. As they've pretty much held the ball in Seattle's half. That one's taken away as Rothrock will pick the back pocket. As that one's going to get played forward to Jesus Ferreira. Here's Rothrock around the corner. As that'll get out for a Seattle corner. As it looked like Kozariense was right there. And I don't think Rothrock had anybody that he can absolutely point to. That was a good touch right there by Jesus Ferreira. Spring Rothrock around. There was just nobody there. So he played it off the fray. And this will be a Seattle corner. So Danny Leyva will take this corner here for the Sounders. Leyva's actually played pretty well over the last 3 or 4 matches for the Sounders. That ball's going to get whipped in. That's going to be headed out as Kozariense will try to keep it in against Sergio Busquets. And he does. Look at that. Oh, and he was checked. Hip checked out of bounds. No call. Here comes Miami. Oh, and they're going to whistle this one against Sergio Busquets, right in front of the ref. As we're approaching minute 67 here, and they're going to whistle that against Busquets for essentially stepping on Leyva's toes. Here's Leyva. They're going to whistle that one against Falcone. Against Obed Vargas. And Miami's infuriated right now. Because the calls aren't going for them. As Leyva will stand over this one. Seattle leading 1-0 as we're approaching minute 68 now. Can Seattle find a secondary goal to put this one away? As that ball gets whipped in, headed out, Jesus Ferreira will try to pop this one back up. That ball is going to, and Rothrock nearly put it in on off the deflection. Oh. As it looked like Jesus Ferreira put one in as it came down off of Jackson Reagan, and Falcone tried to play it forward, but there was Rothrock as that deflection goes a foot out the far post right there. Seattle will have a throw-in now. And it's Jackson Reagan. Christian Roldan will try to play this forward as Reed Baker Whiting finds Paul Rothrock 1v2. Rothrock is going to try to beat him around the corner. And there's a whistle against Sergio Busquets. And that's actually a yellow card. So again, Seattle will have a free kick. And yeah, that absolutely was, as Busquets missed it and got all Rothrock on that one. As this will be a free kick for the Sounders here. And it looks like Leyva will be over this one. As we are almost ready to go here. As Leyva will play this one in. And it'll immediately be cleared out. It looks like it finds Messi now. That's taken away by Reed Baker Whiting. As Christian Roldan gets mugged. As we are now in the 70th minute. 20 minutes remain. As now Seattle's kind of turned up the pressure themselves a little bit. As Jackson Reagan will play this forward for Baker Whiting. That's Jesus Ferreira. As Danny Leyva played it off of Sergio Busquets, so it'll be a throw-in for the Sounders. As they play this one in. And now checking in for Miami will be Fafa. So Fafa Piqué will come in for Frey. As Miami will continue to put attackers on the field. Searching for the equalizer. As Baker Whiting tried to play it a little further up the pitch. And now Jackson. As this will be a free kick here for the for Inter Miami. As play resumes. As Falcone will play it down to Jordi Alba, who's going to move a little centrally. It looks like it's Suarez there. Here's Segovia. And now this will be played back. Here's Rodrigo de Paul, who plays it up the right-hand side. Oh, that's tipped away by Jesus Ferreira. And now that ball is going to go all the way up. And it's Paul Rothrock who's got his man beat. Paul Rothrock in the box. Rothrock! Ooh! Oh. And by the way, Falcone absolutely dummied Rothrock in the box too. That's a nice little tip. And it's Obed Vargas. No whistle. Wow. Now there's a whistle. They're going to say this got out. Unbelievable. As that ball was played forward by Rothrock, who beat Sergio Busquets. And you got to clear that, homie. That ball is going to be taken away by Reed Baker Whiting now. Good defense against the Lande. As we are approaching the 75th minute, I would assume we're going to see Albert at some point. As Seattle will hit the reset, and it's Ymar here. As that ball looked like it got off against Fafa, but they're saying Miami throwing, and they quickly throw it in. As they're only playing with two, I guess you can say two center backs, actually really only one, as Sergio is effectively playing as a center back here. As that ball is going to get played to the right-hand side. As Alande has to play it back to Falcone. And now Jesus Ferreira will press Sergio Busquets. As they're going to try to play this centrally. Now out to the left-hand side, it's Jordi Alba. That ball gets tipped and now headed away by Jackson. Try to hold it in. As Koza Rienzi try to make a break there. And that ball's deflected. And now played forward. It's Danny Leyva. That gets tipped away, and Segovia will hold it in. DePaul over to Messi. Messi's going to try to cut in. Christian Roldan is all over him. He's got to play it back to Falcone. As Messi will play it down to Bright. And now it's Jordi Alba. That ball is going to try to chip forward, but there's Alex Roldan. As DePaul will now play it. Oh, good defense right there by Seattle's Reed Baker-Whitey played it in to Alex Thomas. Off the play to the right-hand side. Miami has never been shut out in Leagues Cup. All 16 matches. Seattle's 15 minutes away from a clean sheet. Ooh, and Fafa Piqué almost took that away from Alex Roldan. Here's Christian now. Seattle's trying to move this centrally. That's a nice little tackle right there. Oh, a nice play by Christian. As that ball is going to go up to the left-hand side. It's Paul Rothrock trying to stay with it. But eventually it comes down to Sergio Busquets, who quickly plays it to Rodrigo DePaul. Now it's Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. As that's going to get over the head of Messi. And Alande has to go chase. Here's Segovia playing it all the way down to Alba. As Ymar will play that out. Good defense by Ymar. And it looks like Georgie Monongo is going to check in for Jesus Ferreira. Just a little over 10 minutes left. So checking in for Seattle is Georgie Monongo. Interesting. Okay. So Seattle's trying to bring speed onto the pitch. Makes sense. As they're going to play this one down to Bright. Here's Jordi Alba trying to go centrally. It's Segovia. Here's DePaul. That's going to get through to Andrew Thomas. And he was hoping Messi was going to make that run centrally. So Seattle now will hold the possession. Nice little play by Reed Baker-Whiting. That pass was just a little too far forward for Danny Leyva. So Miami will quickly take possession right back. We are on the 78th minute now. Here's Jordi Alba on the left-hand side against Koza Rienzi. Here comes Bright. Here's Messi playing it over to the right. Allende now headed out. That's DePaul. Will play it to Segovia. Over to Busquets. Over to Alba now. And that ball is going to get deflected out. So it'll be a Miami throw in here in the 79th minute. 11 minutes remain. As Jordi Alba will take this corner. That's going to get played in. And Andrew Thomas is there. Good goalkeeping. As Miami has essentially thrown everything at Seattle. Their defense is held up. Here's Messi. Oh, that gets blocked. As Segovia again will play it down to Jordi Alba. As Miami has flirted centrally in the early portion of the second half. But Seattle has done a good job. There's now Falcone to the back post. And they're going to say there was a handball. The question is whether it was intentional or not. Oh, no, it wasn't intentional. As that'll get out for a corner. So here's Rodrigo DePaul. Seattle scored midway through the first half, and it stands. That ball gets whipped in. Ooh, here comes Monongo. And Seattle's going to try to break. Here comes Georgie. And Georgie's got space and pace. Here's Monongo here. Gets around the corner. Oh, and he gets taken down. And I think they're going to say penalty. And it's a yellow card. Oh, boy. As this one goes against Bright. As Monongo had space down the left-hand side. And he had pace going against 1v1 against Bright. And he goes to the outside. And he makes the sliding tackle right into the feet of Georgie Monongo. That is a yellow card for Bright. As we see it again, oh yeah, it's his back foot that catches Georgie. Oh boy. In the 81st minute. As now Rodrigo DePaul. Is trying to lobby the ref here, and it looks like this might go to Christian Roldan. Can Seattle bury this one and put Miami away? As Roldan is holding the ball. They're going to give it. He's going to give it off to his little brother, Alex. As Alex Roldan will put this one down on the turf. Here's Alex Roldan. This could be it for Miami. Here we go. Here's Roldan. Oh, and he buries it. And Seattle has taken a 2-0 lead in the 83rd minute. And now Seattle is 7 minutes away from winning their first League Cup. Off the penalty on a play where Bright catches the back leg of Georgie Monongo, and Alex Roldan will bury the penalty. And Seattle are 6 minutes away from not only winning their first League Cup, but also punching their ticket to the CONCACAF Champions Cup next season. And now here coming in is Ben Kramaski for Bright. Speaking of Kramaski, there's Kramaski. Now here's Segovia now. Again to Jordi Alba. Seattle now leads 2-0. As Miami is trying to look for their first. Here's Messi against Obed Vargas. Flanked by Georgie Monongo. As that ball is going to try to go all the way to the left. It's headed out. And there's going to be a whistle right there. As we're in the 85th minute. What a match by Alex Roldan, who gets the assist for the first goal and then gets the penalty. Hell of a game today by Alex Roldan. He assisted with the first and gets the second. As Miami will hold possession, it's going to be Segovia up the left-hand side. Here's Segovia. And he'll play it down to Jordi Alba. Here's Messi now. Against Christian Roldan. Tipped away. Held in by Falcone. Sergio Busquets. As Falcone will try to play it centrally. It has to go back. That's an errant pass right there. And it's Kozariense who gets displaced. As it's DePaul trying to find Messi. Now that ball's taken away. But now it's held in. Good sliding tackle by Busquets. Here's Jordi Alba. As that ball's deflected by Georgie Monongo. Held in, though. Here's Ben Kramaski on the right-hand side. Trying to fire one centrally. That's going to get deflected out. As we're in the 87th minute now. As Rothrock will try to close down Busquets. And it'll be Segovia. As DePaul is looking centrally. As Monongo tries to clear. And it's Rothrock. As he finds Leyva. And Leyva kicks it away. It's Kozariense. And now that ball's going to get played all the way to the left-hand side. It's Georgie Monongo. Here's Georgie 1v1 against Falcone. Played it in. And that's going to be cleared away. And out for a Seattle throw-in. We're in the 88th minute now. Seattle has outscored its opponents in the League Cup 15-2. What a run for the Sounders. Here's Leyva. Leyva's going to play it all the way out. Finds Rienzi. Here's Alex Roldan. Tried to play it to Leyva. Here's Paul Rothrock in the box. Rothrock scores! And that's it. That's all she wrote. Seattle has scored its third. If we didn't think the Roldan penalty was the dagger, that certainly was. As Rothrock was in the right place to flex in the box and puts one past Ustari. And we are now in the 89th minute, and Seattle leads 3-0. As Seattle will win its first Leagues Cup, and it will add to the trophy collection that's already piled up in Seattle. And now they quite literally have won every trophy you can possibly win in American soccer. Show some respect. As this Lumen Field crowd is going absolutely bananas. And the hometown kid, Paul Rothrock, scores in a final. And it looks like he's coming off in the 90th minute. The hometown kid will come off. It looks like Kim is going to come on now. At Seattle now. For the last couple minutes now will be all defensive as Kim Ki-hee will check in. And I think that's going to do it. As Seattle will close out this League Cup run with a 3-0 clean sheet against Inter Miami. And now there's a brouhaha. Oh boy. Inter Miami players. Oh boy. Oh boy. And they're still attacking Seattle players. As Bell will drop. Oh boy. There is a fight now breaking out. As Schmetzer is clearing out his players. As Messi is now talking with Obed Vargas. As now Luis Suarez is jaw-jacking a Seattle coach. As Ustari is trying to keep him away. And there's Schmetzer talking with Messi. As this is a brutal end to what should be a victorious night in Seattle. As now Ben Kramaski's got something to say to Obed Vargas. And it looks like everything is good as Jesus Ferreira. And Obed Vargas say what's up to Luis Suarez, and it looks like everything has calmed down now. As now that the dust has settled here at Lumen Field, Seattle will win yet another trophy. As there's Paul Arriola giving Alex Roldan some love. As Seattle now will go down to the south stand, the Brom end, to show ECS some love. And tonight's man of the match has to be Alex Roldan, assisting on the first goal from De Rosario. And then, of course, he gets the penalty to put Seattle up 2-0. Paul Rothrock closes it out. As we are waiting on the trophy celebration here in Seattle. And of course, they've advanced to the round of 16 of the CONCACAF Champions Cup next year by winning this. And it's been a hell of a season for Seattle. And they're only going to get stronger as Albert Rusnik will be back. Jordan Morris will be back for the MLS Cup playoff run. There's a good chance that Seattle could potentially pull off a double. And of course, with this win, Seattle is now 5 of 5 in finals at home. As Seattle put an end to anything Leo Messi as far as finals go. But damn, this was great. Andrew Thomas had himself a hell of a match too in net. And there's the Roldan family. As Inter Miami players are just standing there wondering what the hell happened. As we're waiting for the trophy celebration to begin. As Christian Roldan is there with his daughter. A little bit of a scuffle there at the end. But yeah, Alex Roldan certainly was the man of the match. As we get into the stats real quick. The final stats tonight, Inter Miami led the possession battle 68-32, but Seattle won the total shot battle 11-10. Seattle was 6 shots on target to Miami's 0. Big chances 4-2. Accurate passes, Inter Miami 506 to Seattle's 211. Seattle committed 11 fouls to Miami's 12, and Miami won the quarter battle 8-4. As we look a little deeper into the shots, when you look at the fact that Miami had no shots on target in this one was actually telling you just how good Seattle's defense was. Shots inside the box, Seattle 9, Miami 6. Shots outside the box, Miami 4, Seattle 2. Passes 589 for Miami to 269 for Seattle. Passes in the own half, Miami 206, Seattle 102. Passes in the opposition half, 300 to Seattle's 109. Accurate long balls, Miami 35, Seattle 21. Accurate crosses, Seattle 5, Miami 3. Touches in the opposition box, obviously they got a little bit better in the second half for Miami. 19 to Seattle's 18. And when we look at defense, tackles 1, Seattle 14, Miami 9, interceptions, Seattle 12, Miami 6, blocks, Seattle 5, Miami 2, clearances 25-21 for Seattle. Duels, Miami won the duel battle tonight, 42-38. Seattle won the ground duels, 33-32. Aerial duels, 10-5 to Miami. And that's the way it was. And so when you look at this match completely, from start to finish, yes, like Miami was always going to control the possession, but it's not exactly how much you possess, it's what you do with that possession. And Miami was not able to do anything with that possession whatsoever. And that's a credit to Seattle's defense, right? They pitched a shutout tonight. And coming into this match, for me, it was not whether or not Seattle was going to be able to score goals, because throughout this tournament, Seattle has been able to score goals. That wasn't going to be it. It was going to be whether that back six was going to hold up for Seattle, because when you look at Miami and how they like to attack, for me at least, it was in those central areas where they like to occupy space and they like to play balls through one-touch passing, where you get Messi running in, or Luis Suarez running in, right? One of the things that Seattle had to do was just take away that space in front of the box, and I thought they did a very good job. And especially outside of that first little wave of pressure that Miami was trying to throw, where Alonde missed one, Messi missed one. Outside of that 10-15 minutes to start the second half, where was Miami situated on the wings, trying to force the ball down the left-hand side to Jordi Alba. And Seattle did a very good job 1v1 defending against Jordi Alba, so they couldn't ping balls into the box. They tried from the right-hand side. That didn't work either. And so, unfortunately, as the second half was progressing, then you saw Seattle really kind of counter that a little bit in the second half. And, of course, Seattle getting their second goal on a penalty. And then, of course, Paul Rothrock closed it out. And I'll tell you what, Seattle had a very good game plan against Miami. And it was going to be the first team to blink, and it was Seattle. Getting that first goal off a cross by Alex Roldan, hitting Ozazi de Rosario perfectly, as he actually flew right through the channel between Lujan and Frey. And Seattle gets the first one. But, again, in the second half, Miami had two opportunities, and that was the first one was with Messi. And Messi had the opportunity, but he skied it. And then they get another one with Alonde as well too. And Alonde got right past Yamar and puts it a foot wide of the near post. And those were two opportunities to at least tie it. But then in the 80th minute, as Seattle's on the counter, found Georgie Monongo, and Bright made a tackle. That was far too late. And because of it, he picks up the yellow card, giving Seattle a penalty, and Alex Roldan buries the penalty. And he gets Ustari moving the other direction, and that was pretty much it. Once Alex Roldan, drove home that penalty, that was pretty much it. And then, of course, Paul Rothrock. It was a bad pass, and Rothrock beat two defenders, beats Busquets and Falcone, and puts in that third, as that pass was originally intended for Danny Leyva, but it was so far behind it. But there was Paul Rothrock, and Rothrock split two defenders and puts one past Ustari, and that was it. As Seattle wins their first League Cup, and as a matter of fact, not only does Seattle win their first League Cup, but they have won every trophy in American soccer. 3-time U.S. Open Cup winners, 2-time MLS Cup winners, and of course they're the only team to win the CONCACAF Champions League, and now they will hoist their first Leagues Cup, and of course they dominated the XG battle, 2.73, and I believe it was like 1.03, something like that. But we are close now for the trophy celebration. And there's Brian Schmetzer And you got to be thrilled and you got to be pleased, because I'll tell you what, this is a team that has just consistently been very good since its inception in 2009. And it's just, this is the first of what could be a double this season. So we'll definitely see. Just a quick reminder that, of course, tomorrow we are back with Yanks Abroad. And, of course, on Tuesday, we have the USMNT on Tuesday. But I think that's going to do it for me tonight, as Seattle will win Leagues Cup 2025. Thank you, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
Rusted goalposts under fading sky.